So this is what happens when you get caught in Mexico. How did they even find me in the first place? I was coming back from a concert in a bus stop at a toll booth. Some guy came in asking for ID. I showed him my California ID, but I didn't have my passport. Next thing I knew, I was in a van. I got to the immigration office. They patted me down, took away all my belongings. They looked me up and they saw that I overstayed my 180-day tourist visa. Long story short, they didn't let me leave the immigration office until I bought my ticket to go back to the USA, which is crazy because I already have my dual citizenship in process, but it's not complete yet. That could be why it didn't show up in the system. The closest flight I could get had multiple stops. Before I went to LA, I stopped at Monterrey. I thought it was gonna be a smooth process going back to the United States, but then this happened. I didn't get my little paper stamp that they give you when you enter the country, so I ended up missing my flight. And anyone that overstays their 180 days, you have to pay a fee of 717 pesos, which is $35. But since I'm being kicked out of the country, I didn't have to pay that Anyways, they got me another multiple stop flight. So it took me 2 more flights before I got back to the United States. Yes. And once I saw the Edgar cuts and the LA outfit, I landed back to the motherland.
What pisses y'all off about Americans?
Everything. I don't like Americans, I'm sorry.
Some mannerisms.
The craziest thing is no one hates Americans more than Canadians. Why do y'all hate your neighbors so much?
They're rude.
Yeah, I feel like rudeness.
It's wild to me because I feel like Canadians act very similar to Americans, no?
No, we're nice people.
You're nicer than Americans.
Yeah. Personally, the politics, they're a whack country that way.
Damn. So you couldn't live in the U.S.?
I would not want to.
If I lived in the U.S., it'd be like East Coast, New York.
Maryland?
Maybe. Just
Not
not
where you're from?
No, I'm British.
Oh, you're British.
Not this. That's the one thing, not the South.
Why not the South?
We're Republicans.
If you're looking for some good news right now, a lot of MAGA supporters are having their wives deported. If you don't know, there's a pretty common trend among some MAGA men that they marry women from other countries. You might have heard the term passport bro. Could be country in Europe or Asia, but overall they are getting wives from other countries because American women don't like them. I've heard of multiple reports specifically in Fresno, California, which is a pretty conservative agricultural town where I happen to have been born, that people there are being deported. One of these couples, the wife is from France and her 87-year-old mother is living here as well. They're both being deported despite the red MAGA hats they wear outside every single day. This has been happening a lot. Of course, they never thought that it was going to happen to them because they only thought it would happen to black and brown immigrants. But yes, they are actively being taken out of the country, sobbing with their red MAGA hats on. And that's the thing about this administration. They do not give a fuck about tearing families apart, even people that have been good citizens. And I do really feel for the poor grandmother who's almost 90 years old that's going to have to start a new life. But at least some of these people are learning what happens when you vote for an authoritarian because they do not care about you individually, even if you're white.
Mexicans deporting Americans is the funniest thing I've learned this year so far. Apparently, Mexican authorities are deporting Americans who have colonized along the beaches and nicer areas of Mexico who do not have the proper documentation. So yes, they've been deporting them back to the States. And you know, it's ironic because Americans are like, oh, pack up your bags, you gotta go home or whatever. And well, the Americans who have thought to exhaust Mexican resources and go live the cheap life, right? In nice areas, well, pack up your bags and let's wrap it up.
Breaking news from an article that just came out today. American doctors applying to Canada to work there has risen 750% just in the last few months. One doctor that was born and raised here and went to medical school here said he's really sorry for leaving his American patients, but he's already packed up his family and moved to Canada. He said he is afraid for what's going on with our American healthcare. Another physician was quoted as saying, physicians are supposed to be kind when we're taking care of our patients. These patients are at their weakest and most vulnerable. Instead, the healthcare system is devolving, that we can't take care of these patients with our hearts. The statistics in this article said over 615 doctors have applied to go work in Canada. At this same time last year, it was only 70. Other physicians were quoted as saying, I can't even take care of patients like I used to. This country isn't what it used to be. And they have stated they're embarrassed to be called Americans. Yes, Canada is a socialized healthcare system, but these doctors that were interviewed in this article said they're not concerned about the drop in income. They're more concerned about the devolving healthcare system in the US. Their driving force have been the severe cuts to Medicaid that probably will go through, placing people in leadership positions, and they quoted RFK Jr., who even states himself, you shouldn't take medical advice from me. And the way the budget for healthcare is being rearranged. They're diverting dollars away from the pandemic preparedness, as well as multiple other things we've seen in the news. A physician that moved her family in 2017 from America to Canada said now she can take care of her patients without feeling like she's burdening them with medical debt, and that she feels she can take care of them better. She has less paperwork. It's less being a non-for-profit up there in Canada. She doesn't feel the pressure to serve so many patients in an hour, like every 5 to 6 minutes. They're scheduled here in the US, she said, and Canada operates in a really different pace, allowing her time to truly care for her patients. I just thought this was really interesting data and information. I'm really afraid for the healthcare system, as you guys have heard me on many of my videos that I've recorded, but this is a new turn that I hadn't expected, that American physicians would give up their medical licenses here in America and go work where they're not under the pressure that they are here. If you like this content, please follow, share, click the link in my bio for your free patient safety guide, and check out my book, Surviving Your Hospital Stay. Thanks for following, and I'll see you on the next one.
What's up guys, welcome back to the channel once again. So guys, Europe and other countries, they are deporting Americans, and the reasons to why they're deporting America, it is because of how Americans, they came out and voted for harsh immigration policies. So we have been seeing how the Europeans, they have been being deported from America to their countries, and also Europeans and other countries, they have come out and say that also we are going also to deport these Americans. The same way they are treating our brothers and sisters in their countries, it is the same way they are going also to be treated how they are treating our brothers and sisters in their country. So right now we are saying that majority of Americans who they have overstayed in Europe, they are being deported. And also, we are seeing that the other countries, they've been rejecting Americans, people in their country, simply because of how they've been treating immigrants, people. And you can imagine these people, they went ahead and voted for harsh policy and telling and saying that the people who have been taking their jobs, it is immigrant. The people who are bringing crime in their countries, it is immigrant. The people who are dealing with the drugs, it is immigrant. They were also coming out and say that the immigrants that they once were bringing bad blood in America. So right now you can see these people, they came out and deported these immigrants, people back to their countries, and the rest of the world, they were watching. So right now we are seeing also for them, they've also started getting the same treatment. Right now Europeans, they are also playing a reverse card. How they have been treating their people in America, it is the same way how Americans, they are being treated in Europe. So kindly guys, I want you to continue watching these compilations of videos, and kindly remember to give a video a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel.
Breaking news. The president of Mexico has stated that he will begin to deport Americans that have moved to Mexico without proper documentation, aka illegal immigrants. This comes after the president of Mexico states that he is tired of Americans gentrifying cities in Mexico. In the past 3 weeks, we have seen different events where Americans try to colonize beaches, public areas, and even salsa. While a lot of these Americans have moved to Mexico for a better life, they moved there because they cannot afford to live here in the United States. So move to Mexico so they can afford a lifestyle there. But locals have raised their prices because Americans are paying in dollars, while locals that are still shopping have to pay in pesos and now have to pay the equivalent of the dollar. And instead of these people moving to Mexico and bettering the economy, they're making it horrible for the people that live there, you know, the natives. And if you already did not know, the amount of Mexicans migrating to the United States has slowed down by the 100,000 since 2019. The amount of Mexicans living in the United States leaving willingly back to Mexico has increased drastically. And while Mexicans are moving back to Mexico, a lot of Americans have been moving to Mexico for a better life. But my, how the tables have turned. What are your thoughts?
I asked, will the rest of the world ever forgive us for electing someone like Donald Trump? Japan. Not a chance. Trump is just the symptom. From now on, any long-term deal with the United States needs a moron premium in case you elect someone even worse in the future. Netherlands. It's not just Trump. There are 75 million of him that can't be trusted. It will take generations if it is ever restored. France. It's not so much just the election, it's everything that wasn't done to stop him. The United States is lawless. Owie. Remember that the question was, would the world forgive us? Great Britain says, sure, as quick as the rest of the world forgave Germany in 1941. France. U.S. today reminds one of the crumbling empires before the world wars. Arrogant, deaf to the world's anger, convinced of their own invincibility. History doesn't lie. Empires fall, and it's never the outsiders who bring them down first. It's the rot inside. America should stop blaming everyone else and start taking a long, hard look in the mirror.
I thank Donald Trump for the boycott that we're currently receiving in the United States from Canadians. I know most of you may not be feeling this or may not see it yet, completely unaware because you don't see it in your daily life. But just let me tell you this. I had a couple of riders this week, both from Toronto. Both are coming down to see family. One had a newborn baby in the family, and the trip had been scheduled for a while. And the other had a sick family member that they needed to come see. And they both told me basically these stories. Number one, that when they went to the airport, that the U.S. Customs, and for Canada, you get on the U.S. Customs and in Canada, that there was like nobody in line. And that both planes were like half full as opposed to being completely full. And usually there's a 2-hour wait or more that they told me. They also told me that because of Donald Trump, and because of his tariffs with Canada and the way that they have been treated by Trump, they are boycotting every single product in Canada that is made in the United States. You can go to the grocery stores in Canada, and there would be for the U.S. products, for example, Lay's potato chips, and all the chips and all the stuff from the U.S. completely full. Not a one. They're on sale. She said they're on sales price for $2.97. Nobody's touching it. The Canadian chips, the Canadian food, all the Canadian right beside it, cleaned out. Shelves are cleaned out. Same thing with soup. American soup, stock full. Canadian soup cleaned out. Coca-Cola, Pepsi, not touching a single drop from the United States. Everything from Canada, they're buying. And that the Canadians also are canceling their trips to the United States. I see this on a couple of other videos I've posted. I've had several 100,000 responses, and same thing. They're canceling. You read the news and listen to the news in Canada, they're canceling everything. I've been asked to be on a radio talk show in Vancouver, Canada to discuss all of this, and they are angry and upset with Donald Trump in the United States, and the rest of us are going to pay for it. So, same thing with hotels, same thing with those that are in high tourist destinations from Canada, Florida in particular, South Florida, Orlando, other parts of the U.S., you all are going to start to feel it. If you work for these companies that make these products that are sold in Canada, they're not going to be moving. So they're going to start not needing you to work as many hours. Over time, it takes time for all this to work back through, where you're not going to be needed as much because the Canadians are buying nothing made from the United States. I had one of my followers on here tell me that he bought $400 worth of food at the grocery store and bought only one item that was made in the United States because he could not find there was a Canadian product to change whatever he needed to change, whatever it was. And that was the only reason he bought that one. They're not buying, and we will feel it. Thank you, Donald Trump. The American people will pay for your decisions on tariffs and the way you treat our friends. Same thing in Europe. Everybody's angry, but this is a specific situation with Canada that I can speak to, that I also have been talking to, that I've got thousands and thousands of people that have commented on my post here on TikTok and on other social media, and they're not buying, and they are not buying. They're not buying until Donald Trump is out of the office. When he and J.D. Vance are gone, they'll buy American products again, but not until. There you have it. Love to hear from my Democrats, my MAGAs, my crazies, my cuckoos, and my burned out light bulbs. If you have any other experiences with the Canadians, or any of my Canadians want to pipe in and fill the rest of Americans, ears full, because, they aren't particularly, I taught social studies, government, economics, American history, world history for many years, and it's amazing. They're just unaware of anybody else in the rest of the world because they only think me, 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 me. They're going to see how much me get them with this orange Jesus. There you have it.
This is so wild. I literally had to walk out of dinner to tell you guys about this. You all know I had a video that went a little crazy recently, why Europeans hate Americans. So let's do it again. Why Europeans hate Americans part 2. We're literally, I'm still sitting at this bougie, fancy, amazing restaurant in Paris. First things first, interesting to note, about half the place is English-speaking Americans, which I do think is a double-edged sword for these Parisians because they want the money, you know, but it comes with a lot of what I'm about to tell you guys about. So we're sitting there, and next to us is 2 separate tables of 2, a young couple and a couple of girls, and they are fucking yapping. I don't know what part of Long Island they're from, but it was pretty obvious where they were from. And they were talking about what color Porsche they had and what color purple that Kylie Jenner had, and you know, God bless their dad for being able to get them a Porsche in their early 20s, but the shit was real annoying. You know the type. So next to us, at the table next to us, is an older couple. This is where things get interesting. This older couple is from Michigan, Grosse Pointe, Michigan, and they don't play this shit. And so this woman, an older woman, had a look of disgust. I mean, she was pissed. And finally she looked over us, she goes, "Are these girls annoying you?" And you know, my polite girlfriend's like, "Whoa, no, you know, we understand, you know, they're a little distasteful." And this woman was like, "They're so vain." And this is what I gotta break down for you, especially for the European folks that are following along. Not all Americans like all Americans. And there is, just like France or Spain or any other European country, any other country in the world, there's different classes of people, there's different regions of people, there's different cultures. Midwestern folk do not necessarily always understand or fully appreciate East Coast folk. East Coast folk, for certain parts for sure, they usually just don't give a fuck. And it's very loud and it's very obtrusive. And I know some, well, you're yapping on a street. I specifically went to a quiet part so I go yap on the street by myself and not piss anyone off. These folk are in the restaurant yapping away, and it's annoying. And like I was saying, the reason that Europeans hate Americans is the same reason that a lot of Americans hate Americans. These people are annoying. They don't shut the fuck up, and they make us look bad. Yes, I am talking on the internet. I'm fully aware of that. But I went out of my way to go somewhere where I wasn't bothering anyone. I'm not doing this in a restaurant. That would be fucking annoying. And these people, I don't know if it's the Gen Z thing, it's the cultural thing, it's being a pampered little brat from Long Island, but they are yapping away and they're pissing off the locals, and they're pissing off the Americans that are also there on vacation. So again, go crazy in the comments. Let me know your guys' thoughts. But I just thought this was an amazing follow-up observation, literally experiencing it in real time. So much of what we spoke about in the last video. So let me know your thoughts. Can't wait to hear.
Let me break it down for you very simply. I'm sorry that you don't understand this. I was born and raised in Hawaii. I am part Native Hawaiian. I get my Native Hawaiian ancestry from my mother's side. My family was born and raised in Hawaii. My grandfathers on both sides of my family were born in Hawaii before it was a state, which means it was the territory of Hawaii, which means before that, it was its own country. My family has lived in Hawaii longer it has been a state. I do not live in America. America lives in Hawaii, and it hasn't gone home. To put it in a simpler example, that's like you coming to my house, claiming it's yours, taking everything that's mine, putting it in the bathroom, and making me live in the bathroom. And then you tell me if I don't like it, I can live somewhere else. Bitch, this was my home first.
So guys, I hope you have watched those compilations of video and you have seen how Americans, they are being deported from Europe. They are being sent back to their country, America. And this is because majority of people in Europe, they believe that these are the people who supported for tough migration policies. We know how these American, the MAGA people, they came out and said that the people who are taking their jobs, it is immigrant people. And that's why majority of them, they they went ahead and vote for the tough immigration policy. We saw how ICE they came out and started deporting the immigrants people. We saw how they were deported without nothing. You can imagine, you are just waking up, you are having your family, and yet when you thought that will go back and see your kid, that would happen because the ICE may come back and spot you on the street or in your job. The ICE can come in your job, get you, and immediately they can deport you without even your kids or your family know. So this is what it has been happening to the immigrants people and the rest of the countries. In fact, Europe's they were watching closely how American policy, how Americans ICE they are deporting immigrants. So right now they have also come out and said that these guys, they are the ones who voted for this tough immigration policy. So also them, we are going to deport also them in Europe. So you are seeing that right now for those white Americans people who they have overstayed in Europe, majority of them they are kicking out, they are being chased out. And for those people who are working also in Europe also, we are seeing that immediately when their contract it is over, they need to leave, because these are some of the things that also Europe they are doing. They are also playing reverse card. So also they've come out and realized that no, you cannot just treat us bad in your country and yet you want us to treat you good in your country. And especially for those people who are having it rough, it is for the MAGA people, because these are the people who champion for this tough immigration policy. And also we have been seeing how these MAGA people they have been treated when they were going in Mexico. You saw what happened when the MAGA people they visited in Mexico. In fact, MAGA people they were going in Mexico wearing the MAGA hat, having the MAGA t-shirt, but immediately when the Mexicans saw these people they are coming in with MAGA hat and also MAGA t-shirt, they refused to serve them. Whenever they were going to the hotel, they refused to serve them. They were telling them that you MAGA people, this is not your country. You need to remove those MAGA hat or MAGA t-shirt so that we can attend to you. I mean, the MAGA people they were having hit rough when they were going in Mexico. And also after the Mexico come out and start doing the same thing that they're doing to their people in America, also that got worse. The rest of the European countries they came out and started to follow the footstep of Mexico. So right now we are seeing that the whole of Europe they are rejecting MAGA, and this is because of how these people they champion for the tough policies. This is how these people they were saying that the immigrants that the ones who have been taking their jobs. So these people they saw that they saying that the immigrants that are the ones who are taking their jobs, and yet right now we are seeing that majority of them they are really suffering. Majority of their farmers they are suffering. They don't have workers, and yet these immigrant people that are the ones who have been helping their farmers, that are the ones who have been working to them in their own field. So right now they are crying. They don't have workers, and also they are the ones who came out and championed to vote for these tough policies. So right now these people they are having a double rough time. They're having a double rough time because also whenever if they feel like America it is right now, you can see that America it is thinks it is not okay in America. We can see how economy it is. We are seeing the cost of living. We have been seeing how Americans they cannot even afford basic necessity. So majority of them they prefer to go and live in Europe. Majority of them they are moving out of their country simply because of how their country it is. So when they are going to these other countries, also they are not welcome very well. They are not really welcome very well. Also they are being sent back to their country simply because of how these people they treated immigrants people, how they've been treating people in their country. It is not just only immigrants. We have been seeing also in their country things it is not okay. We have been seeing mass shooting. We have been seeing people being kidnapped. Also, even if you have already document in America, you can see the ICE coming to your house asking you tough questions to produce the document. So these are the things that it has been going on, and the European people they have been watching, and right now they have also started to do the same thing to these white Americans. You know, Americans people they have been believing that because they are the super superpower country, they can just come to any country and highly respected, you know, because they are coming from the superpower country. They feel like, if I will go to Mexico, these people, they will not deport me. These people, they will welcome me and they will treat me very well because of my country. But right now, the rest of the world, they don't care about America being a superpower country. And right now, they have already seen how these people, they have been treating others. So right now, they are also getting the same treatment that they have been treating people whenever they are going to their country. So kindly guys, you can also share your thought on the comment section. Tell me, what do you think about how Europeans also, they've started to play reverse card towards America. So how America, they are treating their people, it is exactly how Americans, they are getting their treatment when they are going to the European countries. So kindly guys, share your thought on the comment section, and kindly remember to subscribe to the channel. We are heading to 1,000 subscribers. Kindly subscribe to the channel. See you on my next one, guys. Bye bye.